I usually don't do this, but I'm gonna have weed and story time today with you guys. It's a great story. Um, but I was just in the middle of rolling up, and every time I'm like, oh, let me wait until and it's like, no, you're just gonna get it lovely, raw, and uncut from me. And I really want to talk about the womb, the stories of the womb, generational cycles that get passed down, and yeah, like what it looks like when you know that you are breaking cycles in your matrilineal lineage. So, my mom told me the other day that my grandmother, great grandmother were promiscuous. I'm not going to say who else was promiscuous, but women in our family were highly promiscuous, from cheating, having multiple fathers from their children and marriages and things like that. And I was like, wow, I've been promiscuous. Like, who hasn't had a little hoe phase? Maybe not everybody. Sorry for you. But I also have never cheated on my partner, ever. I don't have children either. And there was something else that she said, and I was like, nope, haven't done that either, Mom. I really feel like I have broken some generational curses. And is it a curse to have multiple partners and be a cheater? Yay and nay. I think what it comes down to is just respecting our bodies and honoring our truth. And the truth will always set you free, no matter how much it seems that people will judge you and ridicule you all the way into a corner where you feel like you're in jail. It's just a matter of loving yourself and who you truly are in all your many facets. And so recently I have been kind of studying the womb-heart connection and really paying attention to how it's been reflected in my own life, in my own experiences, going back to losing my virginity to somebody that I wasn't in a relationship with, who was 4 years older than me at the time. I was 15, he was 19. Technically statutory rape, but I didn't say nothing and I'm not mad at it. I'm not going back, right? But then it goes into the next person that I was sexually active with who didn't respect me. And yeah, when I did end up having my first boyfriend, it was 19. I think I was 18. And so I had been sharing my body for 4 years and barely getting a connection, right? So the womb and the heart are already connected. It's us who's consciously trying to disconnect those cords. And that happens when we have fuck buddies. That happens when, we end up, no judgment either, but when women have or men have sex for money, when that connection with your heart is not there with the partner that you're sharing your womb with. And it can be very detrimental to the spirit, but when you're used to it, it's just like, oh, it is what it is. This is, this is our, what we decided on. We're friends and all this other shit. And it's like, it sounds really good on paper, but your heart and your nervous system are crying out because that don't feel good at all. And I lied to myself for a very long time until I started waking up spiritually. And then I also spent a lot of time in hermit, and I chose to allow myself to be very, very sensitive. So I had to feel all my feelings, not run from it, address it all, no matter how crazy I sounded. These men are looking at me like, why you didn't say this in the beginning? All of a sudden, why are you crying? And it's like, nigga, because this is what it really is. This is what it is right now. And so recently, I've been single now for about 4 months, I think. And with me being single for 4 months, of course, the ex came back already. And then that was kind of like declared a no. And not kind of, but it was declared a no. And then right before he came back, the rebound from my first relationship came back into my life, kind of. And then he kind of lingered after I declared no with the ex. And that was so interesting because one day I found myself looking through our old messages and I just started crying. I was like, damn, why are these messages making me cry? And I'm looking at the timeline and how I went from being so open to being so closed up and guarded and trying to compartmentalize my vagina and my feelings so they weren't connected. And when he came back, he was like, oh, I thought we were talking as good friends. And it's like, what's the definition of a friend? Like, are you really calling me your friend, although you betrayed me and you called me on my birthday to tell me that you had a kid when you said it was always going to be us? I'm so confused. And so with all the healing that I have been doing over the last few years, I sat with it. I accepted it for what it was. And I was like, yeah, I have an open heart. Like, plenty of men have asked me, like, why are you so nice to me? And it's like, this is just who I am. Fortunately for you, you got me without without the healthy boundaries. Now I just have healthy boundaries and nobody's getting that dumb version of Alicia anymore. But it also really softened me up and made me more sensitive to my feelings, which has, I believe, aligned me to a higher frequency and a version of myself that isn't going to accept all the BS. Because in reality, the world is crazy right now. Like, it's so crazy. It's crazier than it was in the 60s and 70s, dude. And people were just out there humping around like it was no thing. But now there's more weaponization. There's more things that are able to distract us from the truth and from who we really, really are. So I wanted to bring this up because shadow work is a motherfucker, right? Like, it doesn't feel good. Who wants to cry? Who wants to say, I created this life and I'm the one who's responsible for this life? That's bullshit. Not many people want to just say, yeah, it was me and I'm going to do my best to fix it. And I have been one of those people who actually took the route and was like, yeah, I'm going to look at every bit of my shadow and I'm going to address it and I'm going to accept it. And eventually I'll talk about it. And so here I am today making this video. And I just know that there's so many people out there that are frivolously having sex. I just saw a post the other day and it's like, oh, niggas are still pillow talking for cat. First of all, motherfucker, it's not a fucking cat, okay? It's a whole portal to life that's very fucking magical and warm. Come on now. Like, are you fucking serious? We're gonna say you're pillow talking for cat. You might want to do something to moisten up that pussy. You might. But that's also coming from someone that I'm pretty sure is broke. I'm just going to be completely honest, not talking shit, but if you don't know how to value a woman, how are you going to value holding on to anything, saving anything? And you can say that you value women, or you can be rich or whatever and value a woman or not value a woman. And it's like, when you look at most men who are rich, they're breaking some women off. They're going to the altar. She is the altar and they're giving an offering. I'm letting you know that. And that is the feminine, right? The feminine is the altar. So, ladies, how many of you are treating yourself like an altar? Or how many of you are just frivolously flapping those coochie lips towards some nigga who really ain't doing much? And don't say that he's giving you money, because really, girl, come on now. Like, I need you to go get that bag yourself. At this point, it's prostitution if he's fucking you and giving you money. Like, let's just, and no downing to the prostitutes, you know, for a high enough number, I might go be a sex shaman for somebody. But I also have taken the journey to getting to the place of, okay, let me cleanse my energy. Let me know what I provide. Let me know what my spirit does. Let me know why I'm so attractive to men or a particular type of man, right? But also just understanding my values so that I'm not freely giving it away without reciprocity. That's so important. And at the end of the day, it's not like a good, right? It is a good, but it's not a good. It's not like I went to the market and I bought this. So when I think about what it costs for me to give up my body at this point in my life and on my journey, it is softness, it's security, emotional security, spiritual security, as far as like me being able to always be in a safe space like I provide myself. So that means one is definitely doing the inner work and not constantly projecting or wanting me to be their mom. Can I just say church? Church of the Divine Feminine, because it's the opposite of patriarchy. So anyways, yeah, just tuning into the whole thing about connecting the womb and the heart. Your heart is so pure and it's connected to your lung, which holds grief. But also I like to look at the heart as the weighing scales of the giving and receiving, the masculine and the feminine. And we are creating with our womb, right? But a lot of things that we love, we create from our heart space, right? And they say that our heart is wrapped in the cords of the womb. And so just imagine cutting those cords and not having that connection, that the communication between the heart and the womb. That's why we're seeing all this crazy shit on TV right now. You know, how is one okay with taking away the purity of somebody else? That is so crazy. And seeing how, if it does happen, how they just take off in the other direction. And it's like, why are you acting out so much? And it's because you have put something on someone. So we're talking about transfer of energy, right? Because sex is the sacred exchange of energy. And so with that, frivolous or casual sex could look like you just being the dumping grounds for somebody's demons. Especially if he's not taking the time or energy to really value you and love on you. I'm sorry to say it, girls, but I know there's so many of you guys out there. I was one. In a relationship. That's the sad part. It's so crazy to abandon self within a relationship and to go into a relationship with your womb and your heart connected and to fight that battle, even though there shouldn't be one. And yeah, as I started pulling out of it, of course we had sex a couple of times, but at this point it's just like, I don't want to absorb anything that you may have experienced out there in your wild, because your wild and my wild, totally different wilds, baby. Totally different wilds. Like, and I also just feel like, even though it's called the womb heart connection, it's still the sacral heart connection, right? Because there's men out there that are doing the same thing. And it's like, let's not make an excuse because your anatomy is saying that you're a man and it's just okay for you to be out there humping around and giving out all of your energy. Like, as an energy healer, I did have a client one time who was hypersexual, And I recommended, like, it's okay if you masturbate, but try to masturbate without coming. If you do that, then you're absorbing your masculine energy. You could see what it's like to accumulate it. So anybody who's been celibate for at least like 3 months, you'll notice that that energy is building and building and building. And what it does is it turns into creative energy. And that creative energy it's like we already have it. But when you're harnessing that creative energy, and just imagine like having a ping pong ball versus having a bowling ball. What has more, right? And what power does the bowling ball have as far as possible momentum goes versus a ping pong ball? And when we think about our creative energy and the fact that we're just energetic beings and we're here made to create our reality, it's like kind of want as much energy to create as possible. But what's actually happening is people are having this casual sex and frivolous sex or masturbating a lot because they're not doing the healing. The healing or the trauma lives in the same place as your sexual energy and your creative energy. So I've talked to so many women who are like, oh yeah, my man masturbates a lot. And it's like, yeah, you probably having trouble getting through to him too, because I'm pretty sure he's not doing the healing. He might be projecting. He might, it's like, oh, I see what I'm doing, but that's just me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And it's like, after a while, that shit gets real old. Like, we need to work through some shit. Like, quit fucking stroking your dick and go in there and sit with yourself. Do a little meditation. Ask God to show you something about yourself that you need to see that you haven't been able to see. You know what I'm saying? Because essentially having sex with somebody who's not doing their healing, that's going to be absorbed into you. And then that throws you off your game. I cannot say how powerful and productive that I am outside of a relationship versus inside a relationship. And yeah, it could be my choice of partners, because I know that there's a lot of women who are like, oh, well, if you have a man who encourages you and da 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 da, and it's like, yeah, a man could also encourage you and say all the right things and not be doing the healing because he's believing in you more than he believes in himself, and then he nuts in you, and then you're like, well, why am I not being productive? Probably because you absorbed his essence. Just saying. Can I just say this is a church of the divine feminine? Because it's the opposite of patriarchy. And really, all I want to do is lead you guys back to yourself. That's it. Just leading you back to you. So the question is your womb and your heart connected? Are you humping on who you truly love and who protects you and supports you? Are you now questioning your womb-heart connection? Do you know what it would be like, or do you want to know what it would be like if you were like, you know what, I'm going to soften up and feel all of my feelings and not be able to lie to myself like it's okay to do something that I know I have no business doing? That shit takes so much discipline and hard work, but it's worth it, and it can happen, and life seems to get like slow and boring, but whatever. We're here to heal. We're here to heal. And there's a whole bunch of bad shit that's happening right now. So I feel like if we heal, or at least try, it would counter out the balance of that energy of all the bad stuff. So love you guys. Thanks for listening to my rant. And until next time.